So I've talked about the golden spiral, the golden ratio, or the whirlwind. As we can see, Elijah was swept up by the whirlwind. This is also a picture of the golden ratio or the Fibonacci sequence, the golden spiral. And even ancient Navajo Indian stories talk about this spiral and how you come in through the back of the top of your head. That's where your spirit comes in. And so this is a major part in also understanding the way the Bible unravels. The expansion of your understanding. That's what this is. It's the expansion of your understanding, your growth, continuing as you see on a tornado. As you go up and up and up, the spiral gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's your growth, your understanding. So the Old Testament is so precious because when you look at these stories, what they are is, first of all, they're foretelling the future through these stories. But second of all, something is happening that is directly related to our everyday living. Let me give you an example. So, for instance, God divorced Israel. Okay? Now, that is a macrocosm, that is a large picture of our small single lives, everyday lives, every single person. So we get a picture of marriage and divorce. And for us to understand how that would work, like for instance, what would be a lawful reason to get a divorce? Look at why God divorced Israel. To sum it all up, they were fornicators. They worshiped other gods. They did things that were abominations to God. And so he got tired of it. And so he divorced them. So that is a macrocosm, a huge, gigantic picture that we can use in our small, everyday lives. That's why it's so amazing, the Old Testament. So our application for our everyday lives is we can apply it just like that. Well, what would be grounds to get a divorce? Do you have to stay with somebody no matter what? No. Look at why God divorced Israel. We have it right there all laid out for us. Another good lesson in the Old Testament is on marriage. Adam and Eve. What is marriage? Well, we see God making Adam, then God making Eve out of the rib of Adam. Were there any papers filed? Did they have to go to any courts? Did they have to go to any church or any other man? No, nothing. Adam simply said, "You're bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." So, in their hearts before God, they were married. And that's true marriage. And again, we have a beautiful example so we can learn how the simplicity of this. It's about what's in the heart. That's really what it is about. And it's about you, your spouse, and God. That's it. That's it. You don't need to go to any other man. What are these people doing? You don't need to get on your knee. The woman actually was created for the man. So why is the man bowing down to a woman, giving her a ring and all that? This is traditions of men. So hopefully this helps you guys see a bigger picture, a bigger spiritual application to the Bible, because that's really one of the things that has just really made things simplistic for me. You know, because you get into all these fine line details and stuff about divorce and remarriage or divorce and marriage in general. And, you know, you just like try to say this and then this person has this verse, this person has that verse. Well, to know all these things, all you got to do is go back to the beginning. Because God declares the end from the beginning. And he doesn't change. We change, we grow in our understanding, but he doesn't change. So what was his device for Adam and Eve to be married? Well, Adam simply recognized Eve and in their hearts, and then they came together. And obviously in their hearts, they made a covenant. In their hearts. There was no papers, there was no other people verifying. There was none of that stuff. Okay? It was just them and God. That's it. In the hearts. So you can be married to somebody on paper for 20 years, but have cheated on them a million times because of what you're thinking about. I don't care how many papers you have. I don't care how many people are there. I don't care how great of a priest or a pastor you had marry you. None of that matters. None of it. None of it. None of it. It's what's in the heart. And God knows, in truth and spirit. You must worship God in truth and spirit. Well, when you get married, anything you do, it has to be in truth, in the spirit. Anything.